Alright, hopefully everything's looking good on your end. By all means, please let me know if it's not. Give me just a few seconds to get everything sorted out. And about a minute. Alright, it's looking good. Let's see here. Okay, so how's it going, guys? Today I am going to make a companion piece to my Sogetsu Kazama video. Reason being that another character got leaked alongside Kazuki, and that would be his brother Sogetsu, aka the Soggy boy. So, as a result, we are actually going to see. Sorry, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so let's check out. You know, let's set all this stuff as it should be. Sogetsu, and we'll go with Sogetsu on the other end also. We should be good here. Rage gauge normal. That works out. Okay. Alright, we should be fine. Okay. So, Sogetsu. Let's cover his strengths and weaknesses. I'm getting this information from Mizumi. It's pretty straightforward. Alright, his strengths. He has arguably the best low in the game. Look at that thing. That's his crouching heavy, by the way. 2 AB in this game. Look at the range on it. It's absolutely amazing. Right? Now, on block, why aren't you blocking? Okay. So yeah, it does get a recoil on block. Right? He has a bubble, which is one of the only static projectiles in the game. You can see it here. You can affect where it goes, and one of the gimmicks you can do is hold the button down to sort of move it around, leaving it, you know, up here if you want. Okay. Pretty much everything he has is recoil cancelable. You know, so it's he has one of the better recoil games in 5 special. It remains to be seen if that, yeah, in 7, but I'm assuming they've kept recoils for pretty much everyone, so I'm assuming it'll be the same for him. And finally, he's a great turtle. He's a phenomenal turtle. If he has a lead, he can just sit on it. He has great wall moves. Now, his weaknesses. He can't really force damage all that well. He doesn't have good mix-ups. Like, the mix-ups he does have aren't very strong. His jump is very slow. You can see it here. It's not quite as bad as, like, Ukio's, but it is very slow. He does have good buttons in the air. His jumping heavy has phenomenal reach. You can see it right there. And he has an easy confirm into crouching heavy. Okay. Yeah, you can easily run under his walk and everything. It's really, you can wall jump from it, but again, it has its problems. Okay. Pretty much all his specials are punishable on reaction. Even the bubble. The bubble you need to set up to get it out safely. Finally, he has one of the worst weapon flips in the game. I don't know if I'll consider that a weakness because, you know, that could change drastically in 7. Like, Basara's went from being one of the best in 5 special to, in my opinion, being one of the weakest in 7. So let's go over his normals. Oh, first a few stats here. He takes 110% damage, which means it'll probably be closer to like 105 or maybe down to 100 in 7. His rage duration is 9 seconds, and he takes 27 damage to rage. Walk speed 416. It's not the best walk speed. You can see it right there. His back walk speed is a little slower. Yeah, it's not great. Dash speed probably the same as Kazuki's. You see it right there. Problem is he doesn't really have good mix-ups. Okay, his jump duration, you already saw that. His whiff is 16, throw range 8. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of his little basic universal stuff. Okay, let's go over his normals, starting with his lights. Okay, so 5A. It's a good poke. You can see it's a little slow, right? But it has a great hitbox. You can see it right here. He's definitely a poke-heavy character, right? It is definitely an all-purpose poke. It's a good spacing tool, and it can even work as an anti-air. Crouching version is pretty similar. We'll get into that in a bit. Unfortunately, his jab is not good for tick. You know, for tick throws. It's not great for pushback either, right? It's -9 on block. His frame data actually is not very good, right? So he can't really like. You also, when I did the Basara primer, Basara can literally do crouching. You know, he can literally do crouching jab over and over and over just to get you off him. Sogetsu does not have that luxury, right? So, this move actually whiffs against certain characters if they're crouching, a lot of shorter ones. So I'm expecting that to be the case against a character like Shizumaru, for example, because you know, he's so tiny. But yeah, expect it not to do so well against them. Okay, so oh, another thing, this should be cancelable. Yeah, it's cancelable. Okay, the crouching version, same move, lower hitbox. Alright, it recovers the frame faster, slightly better for spacing, but outside of that, it's pretty much more or less the same. You won't catch, sorry, you won't catch anybody jumping with it, but you know, it has its uses. Okay, and jumping light, it's pretty much the same as Kazuki's, in that it's just a great the jump 8A is pretty much a fantastic just button. You see how active that is, right? You can even hit them on the way up, but they can hit you on the way down if they're paying attention, right? So it does function as an instant overhead. All right. Again, great button, but again, like jumping with him is pretty risky. All right. Jump 8, his forward or backward jump is this little jab here. I mean, it has a lot of active frames, but you're never going to be at an advantage with this. Basically, in the air, well, we'll go over his best air button. Okay. Now, let's go over his near A is basically the same button. Again, you're not really going to poke up close with him. It's not what he's there for. Okay. 5B. It's basically a worse version of Kazuki's in that it is not cancelable, but Sogetsu doesn't really rely much on combos to begin with, so it's not too much of an issue. It is a good range poke, right? That being said, 2B is a much better version as it recovers a bit faster, right? At the same time, you won't accidentally get a near 5B. Like, look at this near. It's pretty slow, right? You compare it to Kazuki's, it's very, very slow, right? Whereas, you don't have to worry about that there, right? Okay. Jump 8B. Same as Kazuki's. It's a worse... Oh, geez, sorry. It's a worse version of Jump 8A, right? In that it's not as active, probably does slightly a bit more damage, but it's just not as good of a button, has a bit more startup. Whereas this thing is practically immediate. Throw it out, basically covers you, right? Okay, we already went over 2B. 2B is just a crouching version of 5B, right? Back jump B, forward jump B, it's basically this. More or less similar to Kazuki's. You shouldn't be using it as much, however, because you know, with Kazuki you have to use this because one, his jump is better, and on top of that, you get a combo. You know, you can combo off landing jumping 7 or 9B. Okay, and then there's near B, which is I think is cancelable medium. Yeah, right there. Yep. Let me see. Let me make sure it's set to guard. Yeah, So it sets a guard on hit, so that's getting a combo. Okay. Yeah, you can combo, you can confirm. Okay, probably not off too much there. Might be the easiest thing. Okay, now his heavy buttons. He has a great long range punish with. Let's go over it. 5AB. Fast forward dash. Look at this move. Right? You see the range it covers? Pretty good whiff punish. Has a bit of startup. Causes a knockdown. Very nice. Very nice for a heavy. You know, you can catch people really, really good with this. Comes out fast forward it is, but it is very punishable on block. See that? They have like a million years to hit you with something right there. Right? So, he moves along with it. That's very important to remember. I wouldn't use this as an anti-air. Now here's the thing. His standing heavy would be great. It is great. It actually really is. But there's just one problem. Crouching heavy is one of the best buttons in the game. It's actually the best low in Samurai Showdown, in my opinion. And this is why. See the range on that? Look at that. That hits low. Yeah, you saw the computer block low there? Yeah. Not only does it block low, it recoils, right? Let's see, let me try to get the recoil here. Yep. Yep, it recoils. Okay, so this is, like I said, this is legitimately, sorry, not that one. That one's pretty cool too. But yeah, 2H or 2C in the new game it'll be, I guess. In this game, it's legitimately, like, look at this thing. This is legitimately one of the dumbest buttons in the history of fighting games. Look at the size of that low. Look at where you are, right? So even if they block, right? See how far away they are? Like, who's gonna punish that, realistically speaking? That's a hard punish, right? So yeah, this is actually also your best whiff punish. Like, you can use this, you know, but honestly, this is what you should be using as the whiff punish. And the damage is very good as well. Like, you see the Kenki gauge there. Let's see how much it does when it's full. Yeah, that's a good little under 40%, I would say, about 30. So let's go in this jumping heavy. This is the only thing you should do when you're jumping, outside of neutral jump light, right? Look at the range on this thing. See that? And no matter how far you get it, that combos, right? So I'm gonna see if I can get maximum damage off it. 50%. Pretty nutty. So yeah, this is your best whiff punisher. This is honestly one of the things that makes Sogetsu really dumb. It's probably his dumbest thing. Like, it's a fucking low. Like, look at that thing. Look at the range on it. That's insane. That's insane. Okay, anyway, his near slashes, it's the same thing here with the heavy. It's just the one that his close heavy does not knock down, right? Unlike the far one. So the far one is the juice. But even then, this is so good. This is so good that there's honestly like very little reason to use this. But again, you know, it does have its uses. Okay, I think I already went over his near medium, just in case I didn't. It's a horrible version of Kazuki's. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, overheads. I'm expecting him to keep this. It's basically the downward stab. I think Kazuki has the same one. It's a downward stab here. It's got good range. It's a bit slow, but it has very good recovery for an overhead. So it's pretty hard to punish on block. Alright. The unarmed version is a kick. and it's terrible. You should never do the overhead when you're unarmed, or at least, you know, assuming they don't change it. All right, moving on. Let's look at his kicks. 5C, pretty good. Pretty good. It has throw invincible, startup, and 5 special. Advances you slightly. It's not great on block, but throw protection is always nice. And a hitbox. You know, it's just a good poke. It's one of his better pokes, but like most of his pokes, it has a bit of startup outside of the long range ones. So he's definitely not going to be throwing out jabs. And I should specify, he does not do well with frame data. I think he has like one move that's plus on block, and I'll look into which move that is later. Okay, 6C. It's a low. Hits low. That's about all it is, right? Slow startup, but this move actually does give you a good frame advantage on hit. You can link into it off of you can link off it into like near 5B, something like that. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, so, sorry about that. Okay, so... it is a hard confirm. I'm not gonna pretend it's not. Okay, 2C. Terrible recovery. Comes out a little bit faster than your jab, but because of the recovery, even on hit, it's really not worth it. Okay, 3C. This is a slide. Similar to Ukio's in that the range is absolutely insane. Unlike Ukio's, though, it's a lot slower. But that could change in SamSho 7. So here's hoping that they make Soggy Boy hell of a turtle, right? Yeah, definitely got its uses. Good knockdown. Let me see. Again, long startup. It is a little hard to react to. It's not great on block, but there's like no hit stop, you know. So let's take a look at the. Yeah. Okay. We already looked at his jumping normals. Oh, JC. Didn't even look at that. It's a good reset, good anti-throw jump-in. It's decent. It's good. It's a good air. It's a good air button. It's a good air jump-in. You know, it's just good. All right, let's look at his running moves. This is I feel like he's kind of weak here for the most part. He has one of the worst running jabs in 5 special. Look at the startup on that thing. That's actually worse than his regular jab. God, that's terrible. It does recover pretty quick, but it's pretty much like it does not have a lot of uses. Okay, he has a running overhead. Let me see. At least I believe it's an overhead. I could be wrong. And it is 6-6B. Now, this move is actually pretty good. The reason for that is it causes a reset situation, right? It does not knock down. Rather, you see how it like reels them back there. They're not. The computer isn't teching. That's just the way the opponent recovers out of this move. So you can go for overhead, overhead. Like I said, I believe it's an overhead. Let's see. By the way, in this game, when you do time slow, you can actually use this to juggle into Isen. So it's pretty tight. Not really useful to know in 7, but you know, everyone should be playing 5 special anyways. This is actually a better game. Okay, running heavy. Not good. It's useless. There's no reason to use this, right? His only real running moves are... I'm gonna be real with you. Okay, so let me go over his kick first. 6-6C. It's a low. It's a low. It's a knockdown low, right? So you can see the problem he has with mix-ups is his mix-ups options are run-up throw, which in this game is not as risky as in 7. Run-up overhead into another running mix-up. and the running, the slide. So yeah, his running game is not very good, not very safe. It's, this is probably the best thing he has out of it, but even then, Okay, his unarmed is pretty much just jabs. It's basically just this, more or less. Right? Alright. Let's see. He does have one of the fastest weapon pickups in 5 Special. Let's look over his specials. He has Water Spout, which is a 623 motion with slash. The light one hits close, the medium one hits at sort of medium range, and the heavy one hits pretty close to the end, but it does not hit all the way to the end. You can see right here that if the opponent is this move is basically to deter people from going in. He can turtle, like I said, but this is what I mean. If they're at a disadvantage, if you're at a disadvantage and they choose not to go in, you're basically forced to throw this out. You're basically forced to take these risks. Say you're playing against the Basara, right? You're throwing this out from full screen, trying to deter them from jumping in. And Basara has obviously his teleport DP, where he can just catch you, right? So it's these little things that I mean. Like, Sogetsu does really well on a life lead, but when he's behind, he can't really pressure the opponent in any meaningful way. That being said, this move is actually really good on whiff, because it has a ton of active frames. So instead of getting the opponent to block it, you want him to like sort of run into it. You want him to try to get in on you, and then you just use it to wall them off, right? On whiff, this is not a bad button at all, right? On block, it's a little different. Yeah, you see it's a little different there. Okay, you can also use this as a DP. You can use the light one or the medium one. That's kind of a DP. It's a good anti-air, and it deters your opponent from dashing, which is really helps to get to his game plan. Very important to his move, right? So again, the recovery is a little slow. You don't want it to whiff necessarily, but again, it's pretty active. You can throw it out. You're probably going to get punished up close, though. Okay. So that move's called Gecko. That's the 623S. Alright, his other special is Fuzuki. He has a unique projectile that no one else in the game has, as far as I can tell. And that is the bubble. The bubble is kind of like well, it's basically Ice Clone on a certain degree. That is a true combo, basically. If your opponent gets hit by the bubble, they are stuck in this, like, weird state, right? Okay, so, like the water spout, you can change the range. That's the light, that's the medium, and that's the heavy. Now, there's something else you can do. If you do by the way, the command for this is 236, so it's a Hadoken motion. If you hold the button down after you do it, you can sort of move around the projectile, leaving it in the air, right? So you can leave it in the air here, for example. Call out water spouts, you cover their approach, little things like that. So, here's the problem with it. Okay? You basically, you need to be at knockdown, you need to be at max distance, because the animation is very slow. So what that means is you can't just throw this out into neutral, you need to set it up. It's very risky to throw it out in neutral, and you can get completely destroyed for doing so. So generally after a knockdown, or when you think that you have them like right there, that's a knockdown right there. Or if you think they're scared and not going to press buttons, leave it there. Okay, so in that sense, Sogetsu is in a lot of ways kind of a very simple zoner. Alright? And he does have ways of getting around other than that. 214S is a teleport. It's not the most useful, but it's there. Okay, so 214A teleports you away from the opponent. it actually leaves you at perfect range for the heavy water spout. It'll always leave you at that exact range. Here. Okay. 214B. 214B is pretty terrible because it teleports you right in front of it. No real reason for this, right? 214AB, which is your heavy, teleports you behind them, right? So if they went to press something, there you go. And he has his weapon flip, which I'll get into in a second. Before that, I want to go into Fuzuki. Fuzuki, there's a little, you know, this is probably going to be a useful thing you can do in. It's probably going to be a useful thing you can do in 7. But you can send the ball behind them and do a rage explosion. You see how it sets up there? Let's see, rage explosion on. Rage gauge max. There you go. Alright, so this way I'll be able to show you guys. Yeah. Okay, so in the same way that rage explosion kind of pushes them back, one of the simple tricks is you put a ball behind them, do rage explosion, and then you... Oh, sorry, the timing's so weird in this one. Try it one more time. Alright, you see how that comboed? That's like 40% health right there. You can get into weapon flip if you want, which, by the way, let's actually look at his weapon flip. It's actually one of the worst in the game. Now that damage looked good, it's actually because I'm in rage explosion. So let's get rid of that. I just take me out of rage explosion. So yeah, this startup is pretty slow, I think you can tell. But that being said, boss rush got changed pretty heavily in the new game, so there's no reason to believe that this will stay exactly the same. That comboed, by the way. That's like, look, his jump is terrible, but that jump in is money. Oh, that's another reason you want to go for the low after the jump in, because the low should always connect. Sometimes you'll go for the standing heavy, and it'll give you the near one, which won't have range to confirm. So you do something like this, always works, right? Simple. So yeah, in this game he's more suited to meditating, which obviously is not going to exist in 7, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, the time slow and meditation really helps him out. I don't think he'll benefit too much in rage, but like I said, they could change his weapon flip and make it, you know, one of the best in the game. That being said, he has very good damage in this game, just off something like this, you know. Not even something like that, all you really need is this. The thing's amazing. Anyways, that was pretty much the Sogetsu primer. I would say that he is sort of a defensive zoner. If you would say Wu is more like a setup zoner, who kind of like just pesters you and throws out things and tries to get you in traps to get more damage. Sogetsu is not, he's kind of the opposite end of that. He doesn't really get heavy confirms when he's being defensive and playing his best game plan, but he can be a wall, and he's best suited to playing against people who, you know, are very aggressive and really like to go in, really like to do their thing. One of his biggest problems is if the opponent is turtling up, he doesn't really have a viable way to get in, and he doesn't really do a lot of damage off his mix-ups. Like I'm in rage. I'll show you how much damage he gets off the slide mix-up here. And that's with the pursuit, right? Yeah, that's not too much. It'll probably be about that. Alright, so let's see. Here's the medium. So yeah, that was a Sogetsu guide. I think he's actually a pretty cool character. I didn't play him much in 5 Special, but he definitely has his niche. He's definitely very unique. He's pretty popular, actually. There's a video on YouTube of Diane Doe versus Aru, and I believe Aru used him? Could be wrong. Let me look it up. Couldn't hurt. Let's see. But yeah, I would say he's definitely, yeah, no, Diendo, sorry. Diendo is using Sogetsu versus Aru's Genjuro. Genjuro. There you go. I knew it was a game with Aru in it. A finals with Aru in it. But yeah, this character, very interesting, very distinct from everyone else, and I think as a DLC character, he's definitely going to stand out. If you like a more defensive playstyle, if you like to sort of play a more control game, you know, for all you blue players who play Magic, he's definitely a blue player. He's definitely playing Snapcaster mages and all that stuff. And for those of you who don't get that reference, I'm sorry that I'm such a fucking dork. But yeah. So anyways, I hope you guys found this informative. I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. And, you know, have a good night, guys. So, y'all have a good one. Later. Yeah, fuck it. There you go.